This episode is brought to you by Disney's Mufasa, The Lion King. Get tickets now for the ultimate family holiday movie experience. Reunite with the characters you know and the untold story you'd never expect. Witness Mufasa's rise from orphan to king and see how the legendary villain Scar got his name. Disney's Mufasa, The Lion King, in theaters everywhere this Friday. The kingdom awaits.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/MBO. Terms and conditions apply.
I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susie.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on earth. A Ghostmail. Hello.
I'm so great.
Hello, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the most haunted city on earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susie.
And today we are going to do a ghost mail for you.
Ghost mail.
We were just discussing right before JD hit the record button the various other types of mail. We would get toast mail, boast mail, coast mail.
Oh, coast
but today we're going to talk about
Dude.
I caught a gnarly wave.
Whoa.
But regardless.
Dear coast mail. Whoa. Whoa.
Today, though, we are going to do the spooky kind of mail.
Ghost mail.
Yes. And before we get into it, we do have a few announcements for you today. So this episode that you're listening to is going to be our last episode until December 29th, which is going to be when we're back from our holiday break. We're all doing lots of traveling and going to see our families and whatnot. So we are going to be just taking a small 2-week break, and then we will be back and we will have all the content for you. So if you are going to be missing your weekly spooky time, you can always go back to the rest of our catalog.
Go find your favorite episode and listen to it again.
Exactly.
Or perhaps you missed one or two or a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of episodes.
Or
yeah, we've had, I think it's 71 or 72 this season.
wow.
This season?
This season.
So, yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's plenty.
There's lots of things you can listen to. Or
Yeah, Chris, we've shot hundreds.
I don't.
Hundreds and hundreds.
My brain
I
is-
just
is
categorized
not there.
all of them. I know everything that we've shot.
They're now searchable.
they
And you
are
can-
on Patreon.
on Patreon.
Yeah. So if you basically are already caught up on all these episodes that we have done and you want more, you can find us on Patreon because we do a fix every single week for our Parajunkies over there. We talk about current events. We read Reddit stories
Lots of
of paranormal
special content for the Parajunkies.
Yeah, we just did the Christmas death horse, if you will. And so we do lots of different things for the fix. So you can always go there because that will be reposted every single time we do one. Also, JT just spent an incredible amount of time putting every single episode we have onto Patreon in a catalog. And you're probably wondering, wouldn't that be what it was like before? That is not true. Patreon used to make our listeners have to download an app called a cast, and they'd have to access the ad-free episodes through a cast. Now they don't have to do that. They can just go on to Patreon and access it, and it directly links to your Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the podcast, and it's completely ad-free. So it's really cool. It's a great update. And JT will have finished up all of the episodes, putting it up there on Patreon by next week from when we're filming this, which is the 14th. So you guys should have it all
They're
all
almost
there.
all up there.
Yeah.
I have a few
So-
that I have to
Let's
upload.
go back to the beginning.
Yeah, go back to
Listen
the
to
beginning.
them again.
Exactly. You might have missed something.
People ask me all the time about what I thought about something I said years ago, and I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, who said that? It's like, you said that. No, I don't think that's true.
We say a lot of things.
We say a lot of things, and So outside of the research portion, we do not prep or rewrite. So there's no scripts. So if you're thinking that we have some kind of catalog of what we've said, we don't.
That is true.
Except the Hat Man.
Except for the Hat Man. Oh my god.
Because, oh my God, we got a lot of Hat Man
We've had
content.
a lot of Hat Man. However, if somebody were to say, remember when you said this about the Hat Man? I'd be like, no.
Said
like,
a lot of things
Well,
about
you
that.
did. I was like, yeah, we've said so much about the Hat Man.
So much about the Hat Man.
By the way, if you're a fan of the Hat Man, go back and listen to our Hat Man episodes.
Absolutely. That could be its own category, to be honest.
Yeah, we have Ghostmails in a collection too.
Yeah.
To every single Ghostmail, you can listen to it ad-free, binge it. If that's your favorite.
As a matter of fact, I think Hat Man does make many appearances in our Ghostmail.
Very much
Yes,
so.
he do.
But yes, and then a couple more announcements, y'all. We have a very big announcement that'll be coming up on January 1st, so we can't tell you anything about it now, but it's going to be really big. It's going to change up how we maneuver the podcast, and it's something we're planning to do in 2025, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. And then last but not least, Chris has exciting news.
Yes, we are establishing a paranormal museum right here in Savannah, Georgia. We have already got many amazingly and terribly
Horrifying.
haunted items. And we have people, demonologists, paranormal investigators. I just recently was contacted by a UFO expert who all want to contribute and possibly design exhibits for this museum. So we're going to have materials and artifacts and stories and histories and research that we are going to present here, and we're hoping for an open in March of 2025.
Woo woo.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
We got a big 2025 coming.
Very
this
big.
This is going to be fun.
And most of the stuff is still in boxes, and I believe we're planning to record unboxing some of that for the Parajunkies, so they will get to see all of
There'll
that.
be a lot of unboxings happening both here and then it's just going to be spread across social media between the entities.
Right.
But we're all partners.
Yeah. And where can they follow you on social media?
You can follow us at Savannah Paranormal Museum. And that
There
is
you
pretty
go.
much everything is Savannah Paranormal Museum, which is a mouthful and a lot of letters to put out. I want to say that on TikTok we're paranormal.museum because it was too many letters for the name of a TikTok. So Savannah Paranormal Museum, savannahparanormalmuseum.com. Look it up. Look us up wherever you look up things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of creepy dolls. We've been living with one creepy doll for a week now, practically, and
We were ambushed.
Ambush is
because
correct.
we did not have wards in place because the wards are all with the stuff in storage, not here. So we'll introduce you to these guys soon.
yeah, he's the one particular doll is quite a lot. But nonetheless, let's get into our ghost mail today. So this one, I believe, comes from Anonymous, and it was titled "The Spider."
Nope, don't like that.
Also, JT's favorite thing to be scared by, right? JT just loves spiders.
Don't like it.
Yeah, they're my favorite.
So this person said, "Hey, Savannah neighbors. I'm from Bluffton and have grown up here. Witnessing its transformation into the mini metropolation.
Whoa.
What?
Matriculation?
No.
Metropolation?
Metropolation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's becoming. But
Dr. Anonymous.
yeah. But Savannah has always been my favorite for weekend trips and day trips. I love the spookiness and history the most and absolutely love listening to y'all. So when the podcast started and it being so close, it was cool. Anyway, I'll make this a quick story because I don't know if it's a ghost story or what to call it. I've always believed in the paranormal and have a sharp sense for it as well. As a Mexican-American girl, my family were always believers in paranormal, brujeria, and all of the spooky stuff. And we always openly talked about it. My mother passed away 3 years ago, and I've always gone to her to speak openly about things I've felt or seen. Small things have happened as far as me feeling or seeing things, but nothing has ever frightened, confused me as much as this. In the last year, I've seen spiders crawling. Oh, my God.
Oh, good Lord.
One time on my curtain and once on the wall in my bedroom. But these spiders look like black shadows and are really big. I'd say as big as a child's fist.
Nope, don't like that.
like a wolf
Although I would
spider.
like to say that this region does have some pretty big spiders.
Yeah.
I've encountered one or two
Yeah.
that were
Unnerving.
unnervingly
Yeah.
large.
And the first time it happened, I was in my bedroom at my dad's house. I saw it on my curtain and screamed, as would I. I was so shocked as to how it got in my room. As I gathered myself to get the courage to move the curtain and attempt to find and kill it before it got me, it was just gone. I was scared, cleaning and moving furniture for a few days, and was sure I was going to wake up to it one day.
Oh, I feel you, girl. Lord.
JT wouldn't sleep in that room.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, JT is
Absolutely.
a severe arachnophobe, so yeah.
We got spider shit. You got to like kill with a shotgun. Like, these are we got
We
big
have
boys.
hardy spiders. It's
Very
true.
hardy.
We do have some hardy spiders.
But a few months later, I moved out with my boyfriend, and I've been here for 6 months now. He travels a lot, so a few weeks ago, he was out of town, and I was watching TV with a candle lit. I decided to shut the TV off and scroll endlessly on TikTok. It was candlelit in the bedroom, so there was plenty of light for me to see. As I got comfortable, I looked up at the wall, and there was a huge spider with a couple of smaller spiders behind it.
Oh no, like an army.
It's an army of creepy crawlies. I literally just blinked. My mind went back to the spider in my bedroom, and I didn't make a sound. I just stared at it, and in just a few seconds, it disappeared like smoke.
Nope. Don't like that.
I don't like that
Don't
either.
like that at all.
I've never seen anything like this, and it's confusing. What does it mean? If y'all, what does it mean?
What does it mean?
If y'all have any ideas or have heard of this, I would love to know.
Raid.
Raid.
Get that supernatural
wield 'em.
raid. So it's no secret that there are spirits that can present themselves in forms that they think will get the largest response. To imagine that a spirit, in order to make you uncomfortable, to make you unsettled, to provoke a fear response, would show up in a form that would unnerve you. And choosing a spider is a pretty universal thing to kind of freak people out.
Right.
So you might be dealing with some kind of sort of mimicky trickster kind of spirit, hoping to alarm you and scare you with very little else than its ability to appear to be something. However, in my experience, stories like this usually get more intense as time goes on because it's trying new and different things.
Right.
It's going to try to appear more fierce, more frightening, and past a certain point, it will probably start to try to get contact. Not
I was
to be
about to say, like a bite?
You got something to look forward to. No, what I'm saying is it kind of goes hand in hand with that type of spirit. Because like a mimic ideally mimics a person you know or something like that. But that doesn't mean that it can't mimic something that you're afraid of.
Right.
You know, it has the sort of the only communication it really knows how to do is evoke fear and receive fear. So if it can evoke fear and receive fear, that's its communication, and it thinks it's succeeding. And so it'll become more frequent the more alarmed you are. It's like,
Right.
oh, this is it. We've established contact.
Yay.
What if I were a bigger spider? What if I were many spiders?
Baby spiders.
What if I was a baby spider? What if I was a spider with a baby's head?
If a malicious entity wanted to come at me, it would turn into a Brazilian wandering spider. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's my biggest fear of all time.
Yeah, because they chase after you. They're horrifying.
They will literally chase you. They're
So-
insane.
My only thought besides that is sometimes there are deities and entities that will call
that's a
to
good point.
you through different animal imagery.
Sure.
I'm not ultra familiar with the entities or rituals of brujeria, but I would look into it maybe a little bit
Absolutely. Because
and see if there's anything that's associated with spiders,
right.
because there's a possibility there.
Regionality, Anasazi would be a spider spirit that would have sway in this region, certainly. So that's worth investigating too. Is what is the history of the land around around your father's place, where you're living now, things of that nature, could shine some light on what kinds of entities might be trying to communicate. And the only true communications a lot of entities have are familiars, sending some kind of, like like the bat signal. It's like, what do I have to show for who I am? And to see spiders might be a call to a specific deity. That's a good call, actually.
Yeah. So I would just do a little bit of digging, or maybe ask one of your family members, since they seem to be very open to the conversation, see if there is any kind of folklore that is associated with spiders. And I mean, it's not going to hurt anything to know even more information, but they might know something.
And it might be a message that needs to be shared.
But regardless, I can understand why that would freak you out. But yeah, so... but that's going to be my best bet with it. I wish I knew more information on that particular sector of witchcraft, but because it's such a closed practice, and I am by no means any kind of Latinx, so I definitely have a very limited information resource here. But yeah, that would be where I'd steer you into the direction. But yes, thank you so much for sending in your ghost mail. Everybody loves a creepy crawly ghost.
Creepy crawly ghost.
So this next one comes from Brittany. I have a picture I wanted to share to you.
Pictures.
It was from. It's from 2013. While I was in the hospital in my town having my daughter in Susanville, California. Not sure if this was the right place to send it, but I have the original and then that I edited to see what it was. This is a picture of my mom holding my daughter. Please let me know what you think, Brittany. So this is the photo.
I'll get it up for you, Parajunkies.
This is, I think, what they're referring to, which it kind of looks like a woman wearing like one of those 1920s hats, like the round-shaped hats.
Yeah, like sort of the flapper era.
Yeah.
20s. Although, when I look away and back at it, I don't see a mustache and beard. A mustache and beard.
Oh,
mouth.
Interesting. Yeah.
Which could make that hat more of like a pith helmet.
That is true.
So yeah, it definitely looks like. I mean, at first glance, you think that this is a camera malfunction.
Right.
This is obviously some kind of.
Here's the edited version.
Yeah, I still see this
kind of masculine features.
Right, masculine features. Although the hat does have that kind of a bell shape to it.
The hat's the most defined thing, to be honest, which is super interesting because it's not usually that way.
No. And now that in the edited version, it does look like it peaks down into a point in the front, which is also kind of that British pith military helmet.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
It is. It's super creepy.
Yes, it's very creepy.
And
like if I look away and look right at it, like looking away and then looking at it, or blinking a lot when I look at it, it does look like a man with a mustache and beard, kind of leaning
to like canted head.
Canted head, right?
He almost has like a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of see what you're saying right here.
Yeah.
Well, now it looks like Mark Twain.
Oh, it kind of does.
It absolutely does. Like because his hair is so wild, it's big around his head. So when we made the picture larger, it definitely does look a little Mark Twain-y.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that this was taken in a hospital. So, I obviously don't know how long that hospital has been there, but if it's been there long enough where people dressed in this era, it very well could be a spirit that's how they remember themselves being.
Oh, absolutely.
That is like super defined.
It's so defined.
Now, everyone listening right now on Spotify, I'm going to upload it as a Spotify video so y'all can see it. I'll also put this photo up on Patreon. That's crazy. Yeah, she's just holding a baby, and then it almost looks like a quarter or like a.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like a coin of some sort.
You would almost think that somewhere in the room there is a light shining into the lens, and what you're seeing is like the fullness of the light because it's got a clear rim all the way around it, and so it gives off it gives off like a camera artifact, but outside of that, it definitely looks like a face. It definitely looks like a man's face, kind of canted head. If I cover the hat there, it really looks like Mark Twain.
It does, which is kind of crazy.
That's wild, y'all.
That is wild.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's not uncommon for people to have paranormal encounters when they first have a baby, because babies are so full of life. They're brand new to the world, and that oftentimes draws spirits because they want that. They want to be around that energy.
And some people have a belief that, you know, entering and leaving the world creates portals.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I would wager hospitals tend to be some of the most haunted places.
Oh, absolutely.
So what's kind of weird about this is that Kiwan and I just my brother is about to have his baby, and his child is going to be born on Madison's grandfather's birthday, who just passed, and we were talking about like soul recycling almost, where someone dies and then somebody is born.
Right.
And
there was a lot of belief in that, that if you link the death day and your birthday, there's a good chance that your spirits are linked somehow.
You know, not to say Madison, your grandfather's soul, you know, is here. It's more like, I don't know. It's just like a life for life type of deal.
Right.
And looking at this, it's like, it looks like an old man, like an old man and a baby.
Yeah.
It's just very strange to be talking about it like that. That's wild.
It is very strange, you know. There's a number of reasons why this can happen. Like I said, it could have been the spirit of somebody who died in this hospital. That's how they remember themselves, and they were drawn to that energy of a newborn. But also, it could be a photo of a long past relative who, you know, is joining to see the birth of a new relative. That's definitely not uncommon, where people have had experiences with ancestors who died 100 years ago coming back and visiting, somebody who's in the same bloodline.
Yeah, I see you taking photos of it, Chris. What are you doing?
So I'm actually uploading these photos to Google image search.
Oh, okay.
And seeing if it shows anybody in particular. That could be really interesting, actually. Yeah, see if it picks up any features and maybe pulls up some kind of like, you know,
a picture
ancestry document or something. Yeah, with the internet, we've really acquired a wonderful database, especially through ancestry.com and things like that, because they've been able to track family members all the way back into, you know, sometimes the 1700s, even later for some people, and which is actually very interesting. And that's a whole separate conversation, just because, you know, the Mormon Church has definitely kept a lot of records on that, even if you weren't Mormon. But again, totally different conversation.
Totally different conversation, but intriguing enough.
Yeah, very intriguing.
Is that a lot of it is in the on the web and traceable.
Exactly.
Through means that you may not be aware of.
Yeah. But regardless, at the very root of all this, it is a fantastic photo. And I totally understand why you would want to send it to us, because that is super, super intriguing. So thank you, Brittany. I appreciate you sending that. And maybe we can try to do some digging and see what we can find. But so our next ghost mail is going to come from Mylea, which is one of our...
Oh, Mylea!
Yeah, which is one of our Parajunkies.
Nice.
So they said, hello, Madison, Chris, and JT. I have been following you guys from the very beginning. I have finally decided to join the Ultra Parajunkies and start my investigative journey myself. Very nice.
That's awesome.
I wish Mylea was joining us on the live stream today. But yeah, well, she'll watch this, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have always been drawn to the paranormal, infernals, demons, cryptids, and true crime stories. I have the tiniest touch of clair abilities and am a practicing witch. Here are 3 distinct stories I can remember from years ago, just until a few months ago. So this first one is called 3 Knocks. In high school, I would often get home from school and have several hours alone before my siblings and parents got home. One day I had just gotten home from school, and it was one of those times I had the house to myself. My old house had a hallway where my room, my late brother, and sister's rooms were. If you're looking at the hallway, the bathroom was the first door on the left, my brother's door second on the left, and my sister's door directly at the end/middle of the hallway. And my door the only one on the right, directly across from the bathroom. I dropped my things off in the room, went to the bathroom, and as I left the bathroom and started to cross the hallway back to my room, it happened. There were 3 startling loud bangs on a door, and my brother's door loudly but slowly creaked open.
Oh, no.
I froze in the middle of the hallway, silently said to myself, "Nah, I'm not dealing with that," and promptly scuttled into my room and shut the door. My mom used to always say she felt like dark spirits were around me, but I never knew if that was her religious views or maybe she was onto something. Who knows? But I never forgotten that experience. So let's read all 3 and then we will discuss. But the second one is called Reaching Out. Over the last 4 years, I have been going deeper into my spiritual journey and deconstructing a lot of old beliefs. One night after a meditation at my altar, I went to bed as normal. At some point, I woke up, rolled over, and saw a pale, masculine arm and hand laying across the other set of pillows.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my God.
Just the hand?
Yeah, and the arm.
And the arm, just the arm and hand?
Yeah. The hand was palm up, as if someone was offering me their hand. I thought it was just my partner's arm strewn across the pillows as he slept. As I reached out to place my hand in his, when I did, my hand went through it, and it did. The arm and hand disappeared. I sat up on my stomach in confusion. I then noticed that my partner was not in bed with me. I said, and laid back down to sleep. It never felt malevolent, just like someone was offering a hand to me, reaching out. Interesting. And then the last one is at my bedside. Shortly after my brother passed, maybe a month, I happened to just wake up in the middle of the night. No fuss or drama, just kind of woke up and opened my eyes. There at my bedside, just a few feet from where my head was a white, almost formed figure, either kneeling or crouching at my bedside. I don't like that. As I continued to stare, it slowly disappeared, and the last part of it to disappear was what looked like a hand or arm just inches away from where I lay. It looked like it was going to touch my leg in a gentle pat or something. After it disappeared, though, I quickly fell back asleep. I don't know if it was my brother saying hello or one of my spirit guides or some other rando spirit saying hi, but it gave off no malevolent vibes, so that's all that matters to me. Thank you for letting me share my stories, and I'll hope to share more soon. Love your podcast, and maybe we can investigate together in the future, specifically the Black Monk in London, please.
Absolutely.
I love the Black Monk.
Yeah, the Black Monk, that was a creepy one.
So, talking about the pale figure, I think the first encounter you had with this, so typically when your palm is up, that represents receiving. And that could have been the spirit's way of asking for permission to come into your space. And by taking its hand was you allowing and agreeing to, be visited by this entity, if you will. Because I find it interesting that you then saw it again, and this time it was watching you, and that it almost kind of gave you a signal that it was the same entity by dissolving, but leaving
Except for
that
the arm,
exactly. Right. It was like kind of a nod to be like, yes,
this is what you accepted.
Exactly. Which does make me a little nervous, just because I know you said that it doesn't feel like there were malevolent vibes. That does always just make me a little weary when things have to ask for permission, if you will.
That is exactly what I got out of that exchange. And worth the conversation is malevolence is not the only thing that will do you harm. Something that once in your life for beneficial reasons can still do you harm. It does not require a malevolent intent to be draining you, to be feeding off of you, to be, we tend to think, well, it didn't, seem evil. It's like, well, evil is a strange classification of intent. The intent of a person to be near you may be completely innocent and completely fine, but if that person's radioactive, then his presence causes deterioration. So it's something to be wary of. It's the Fae trick. Fae are beautiful. They offer life everlasting and love that is deeper than you could ever know. However, no mortal can withstand their life.
Right.
So, we talk about Fae traps and Fae things like that. The truth of the matter is the Fae are not interested in harming us, but they can do incalculable damage to us because of the nature of what they are. So just be mindful, I guess, is something to think about. And it's because of the handout gesture.
Right.
The handout gesture is not typical of spirit behavior unless it's, it's the classic vampire asking to come in.
I thought the same thing. Yeah. And yeah, it could just be, so there are entities that are considered parasitic entities where they're really more so feeding off the energy around you, especially if you're a spiritual person. It can happen a lot to people because you already exude a lot of energy and potential around you. And sometimes that attracts spirits that want to have a little bit of that, And
that's not to say that this isn't a harmless entity.
Right.
It's just one of those things where you're like, yeah, it very likely could just be a harmless entity, possibly family member, possibly loved one. But we do get those alarms. You get those like, there's a tiny red flag saying, why was it doing that? Why was that behavior the question? Especially because we can go now to the very first thing, the 3 knocks.
Yeah.
So 3 knocks, again, in most paranormal circles, people will suggest that the 3 knocks are a bad thing because they are the announcement of a presence that has a power to influence the world. And it's generally corruptive. It's generally dangerous. Most people would consider it demonic. They suggest that demons will use 3 scratches, 3 knocks, 3 to signify their presence. And if you had that experience as like the first of your experiences, and now it's sort of developing, and you're developing with your clair abilities, it does ask the question: is it all connected?
Right.
We've come to a place where you have to be very wary of the 3, any of the signs of the 3, because it's become parlance for the spirits, even if it's not like sound. Like I'm sure you could argue it in many, many ways, but because it's become so much the conversation piece and so many people accept it, that means the spirits have to accept it too. That they recognize what we recognize, and they're hoping to communicate as we communicate. And so if we're communicating this notion, they're like, okay, so in order to communicate the intent that they would understand, I'm going to do this act. And that becomes the question. It's like, what are they after?
Something very creepy is that right before you were talking about the 3 knocks and like 3 and all that, 3 red balloons passed by our window.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you. You want me to go get them?
Where
There's
were
3
they?
red balloons out there.
Pennywise.
Yeah.
Oh
well,
my God.
he just brought that creepy ass clown in. I'll go get
Wait,
him.
you said there are red balloons outside? Nope. What the?
Oh God.
That's
horrifying. I hate that.
Give them to the dolls.
Oh yeah. Yeah, give them.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this. Why would there be 3 balloons?
I don't know. But
so we are not really on a Saturday afternoon. We're in a very not traveled area.
Yeah.
Nobody comes here. This is not a place where people would be setting up a yard sale or there's no real estate around here.
No birthday parties.
We're in
nothing.
a warehouse under an overpass.
Yeah.
There is a school like kind of across the street, but it's Saturday, so there's no reason for them to be there.
Yeah.
And so I can't fathom why there would be balloons
Jeb.
Charlie. So we recently inherited or were given on loan for the museum 4 haunted dolls. Their stories are very compelling, and we've had strange experiences already with them. But so help me if there are red balloons showing up
just willy-nilly,
because there is Henry is the small clown. So there's a small clown that is a classic clown. Then we've got a large clown named Charlie. Charlie has been known to show up in people's houses, and on occasion as large as 6.5 feet tall. People have experienced Charlie, the sad clown, in their house, and when they approach him, they realize that he is actually very, very large. They think that they're very close to him, but it turns out that he's just very large in their house.
Oh my God!
Yeah, upsetting.
That's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Oh my God! He's one of those in the boxes,
yes,
right? Okay,
he's in
great.
a box.
Oh my God!
What?
Why?
The living good gobbledygoo? How? Why? No. Take him to the dolls.
Oh my God! Take those to Charlie.
Yeah. Here.
So I saw him pass right before Yard Hub. I was like, what the heck? Because I thought it was the school, but it's Saturday.
And also, mind you, these don't have helium in them. They are like air
He just
balloons.
passed right by our window. I'm like, this is strange.
Yeah. Go. Put him. Go put him.
Give them to the babies over there. Oh my God. Okay. Well, anywho, that's
I'm so very unsettled.
I am also unsettled.
That is very unsettling.
So there's that. Well, anyways,
okay.
To finish up your ghost mail, Malia, what I would recommend to you is to keep a journal. And if you're not like a pen and paper person like I am, you can use your notes app on your phone or whatever. But I would say keep tabs on paranormal encounters that you have and see if there's any kind of correlation or if they're progressively getting more intense or more prominent in your life.
Not to be the like oogity boogity people.
Right.
There is so much to gain by a spirit having, active connection with a living person that masking their ill content and their malicious spiritual aspects is not unheard of. Many times, it's the clown theory. Many times they come in pleasing form to get close. So just be on your guard. And again, we're not saying that that's what's happening. It's just be on your guard.
Right. Well, and that's why I say it's worth noting, keeping tabs on encounters that you have, even if it's just for your own curiosity. It's nice to keep like a journal of paranormal encounters if you have them frequently enough. But I think that would be the best way just to get a gauge on if this has any kind of, relationship to you in that way. Eventually it's going to start, doing other things. And I think it would be worth, having a little list of it. But regardless, that was super creepy. And all of that was super creepy with the balloons. But
We have room for one more.
Great.
Trisha asks, has anyone else dealt with hearing an extremely loud boom before seeing a malevolent entity? And that's interesting because that is remarked by people that oftentimes they have like like almost like an impact that they oftentimes will call like a boom, but it's not just sound. It's like like they've been shook.
Right.
And generally the general idea is that your protective spirits are actually clamoring at the presence of a malevolent spirit. So I've heard people talk that. I do not have that. I've never had that experience. Although I have been in places where an unexplained loud, like banging noise, something just popping sound will go off somewhere in the area, to the point of like, I think one time we thought it was a gunshot. Like there was somebody on premises with a gun and fired the gun. So I have heard of people who have this kind of interaction right before something goes down.
yeah, Yeah, I think everything Chris said was correct. So I'll just say that's it. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Last ghost mail.
All right. So this one also has photos.
Photos. We love photos.
So this one was titled The Mazinaw Rock. So, hi guys, I'm a huge Canadian fan. Hello in Canada.
Yay. Yes. International. That's what we are.
I love our international
Parajunkies. Yes. If you live anywhere besides the U.S., if you live in the U.S., you can also send us your stories. But if you live outside of the U.S. and you've had very specific encounters in your region, please send those to us because I love reading those. And I always find it very interesting because I can look into the folklore of your region. But nonetheless, so all the way from small town beachside Kincardine, Ontario, we recently went on a camping trip, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on our experience. We visited Bon Echo Provincial Park and had a glorious few days in beautiful weather. It is mostly known for a huge rock cliff in the park called Mazinaw Rock. It is about 100 meters high and 1.5 kilometers long, surrounded by a very large and deep lake. It really is a marvel to see in person. The locals and indigenous people consider it a sacred rock and a highly spiritual area. It is also home to over 260 pictographs, the largest collection in Canada. They are all along the rock wall and only accessible to look at by boat or canoe. The pictographs show creatures, non-human and human, and animals. Well, that's wild, but all right, continuing on. They supposedly could be up to 1,000 years old. I just wanted to give a brief explanation on the area. So on to what happened. I was back at the campsite cooking dinner, and my 8-year-old son and partner decided to go out for a paddle and look at the pictographs by themselves. They paddled along the rock wall, and my son really had to use the washroom. Just a number one, but yes, an emergency. Couldn't hold it, apparently. They paddled away down past where the rock face ends and found a little bushy area. My son got off and quickly relieved himself. Everything was okay. They hopped back in the canoe and continued paddling. No one around, just the quietness of the evening in the water. My partner decided to take a little video. Again, everything seems good. They get back to the campsite and he is looking through his videos and photos and notices a growl in the video. That was taken right after my son went to the bathroom and they left. He never heard it in person, but it was only picked up afterwards on audio. What was it? Did he tick off an entity? Maybe they felt disrespected. It is quite eerie. I felt very bad after, so we gave an offering to the lake and apologized. I will attach the video and a photograph of Mazinaw Rock. Oh, hell, I'll throw a pictograph photo in as well.
The more information, the better.
The more. I love it. But yes.
All right, so I'm going to play the video out loud because you can't play video with the black magic thing we have. But I'm going to play the audio.
Okay.
All right. So it's a little kid kayaking.
Looking for a pickup truck to get just about anything done? Look no further. The Chevy Silverado EV isn't just the most powerful Silverado ever, with next-level towing capability and technology. It also offers game-changing versatility with the available multi-flex midgate and tailgate, which means Silverado EV helps you carry large, bulky, and oddly shaped items up to nearly 11 feet in length. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Visit Chevrolet.com to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Peloton. If you're looking for flexible workouts, Peloton's got you covered. Summer runs or playoff season meditations. Whatever your vibe, Peloton has thousands of classes built to push you and has something there to adapt with you whether you need a challenge or rest. Peloton has everything you need whenever you need it. Find your push. Find your power. Peloton. Visit onepeloton.com.
Daddy paddle. We want Daddy paddle. Paddle. We want Daddy paddle. We want Daddy paddle. Paddle.
What in the world?
Wait, what
I thought that was him.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like.
that's not the kid.
No,
the
that's
kid's
definitely
talking
not.
like through the end of that.
Yeah.
What the heck?
That's amazingly upsetting.
That's amazingly upsetting. Absolutely.
Like, right? One more time.
That's wild.
Because it almost sounds like it's mimicking the kid.
Oh, no.
It's trying to adapt its voice.
Get the button.
Oh.
Oh, Lord.
Is right. Well, and especially because it is considered
no.
sacred. Well, no, it's okay. It is very upsetting. But yeah, well, considering that the rock is deemed spiritual and it's very revered by people in that area, and the fact that there are photos of human and non-human entities, I'm not surprised to hear that. I mean, your son very well could have upset a spirit because typically using the bathroom on sacred land is not advised. I feel like kids do get a little bit of a pass, maybe.
It's difficult because most specifically, it's possible it was a grave site.
Oh.
It's possible that it's just a long forgotten grave site. Just a pure, because that specific act on a grave carries with it very steep spiritual backlash.
Yeah, it's
But also there was something in that sounded like imitating a small boy, which suggests that you're going to have mimic experiences here on out. What was the rest of the?
The rest of it was apparently the gift shop and visitor center are haunted as well, and people have noticed figures, etc. But that's for another day. Please tell me what you think this is. I'd love to hear your input on this. And heck, I could even be overthinking this. You guys are my favorite podcast to listen to, and I even recently became a patron member.
Yay!
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Woohoo! Okay, that's all. Have a listen. Much love from Ontario. And please let me know if it doesn't work and I can send the video another way. Well,
no. Video works.
Yeah.
Video works.
Very intriguing.
So, most people would think that it's like that, I don't know, that it's not scary. But for some reason it is because of where they are.
Right. Just
Right.
like isolated on a boat in the middle of a lake.
Exactly.
And you hear something that is so very unnatural.
Almost primal?
Yeah. It's
It
like,
was
what
very
is
primal.
that?
It's primal.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, it sounds like. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
makes you like quiver a little bit. It just I don't know.
I kind of see like maybe like a primitive spirit trying to scare them away from the area
Right.
with its own voice and nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, it's successful. It's
Yeah, but they didn't hear it.
No.
So what does that mean?
Well, and that's another thing. Equipment is more sensitive than us.
Yeah.
We have biases in our brain that actually keep us from seeing and hearing things that equipment do not have. We protect ourselves from things that will drive us insane, but cameras don't have that mechanism within them to say, I'm not going to see this, or I'm not going to notice this. Which is interesting because it also works the other way around. There are plenty of times when people have seen and heard things that were not caught on camera or on tape, which suggests that those interactions were directly in the brain, that those sounds, voices, sights were all being transmitted directly into the person's mind.
right.
So yeah, there's a nice twofer there.
Yeah. And to me, what it probably is some type of indigenous entity.
It seems like an indigenous entity. It certainly could be a shape-shifting situation, a spirit that is in mid transformation.
Yeah, it's because there's a variety of different entities that would be associated with an indigenous land, like their land entities, water spirits, all sorts of things that are
Right. And to be clear, from what we understand, the canoe had been brought up onto the shore so that there was a little bushy area for
So he could
him
go-
to go
yeah.
and relieve himself. And because you're getting out into like a bushy area, there's no way of knowing what
Right.
was there, how, if there was anything of note. It could have been grown over. It could have been long, obscured by nature. And the thing about like lakes like this and rivers that run clean, clear water, that's where indigenous people really put a lot of their culture and bias on.
So this is a photo of the rock, which I was just kind of zooming in on this like
Sure.
clay area.
Right.
But yeah, it's regardless, very creepy.
It's a beautiful area, though.
It's gorgeous. I would love to visit it. But yeah, your son very well could have had some kind of encounter with a very strong entity. So yeah, I would love to do a little bit more digging into this area and hear some of the other stories that came out of it, because other people might have encountered something similar. But regardless, thank you so much for sending that video. Yeah, and if y'all have videos or photos, even if you think you might be overthinking it or something, we do like to look at them just because, it's always fun to see ghost photos and videos. But thank you so much for listening, y'all. We really enjoyed these stories today, and we got a bonus of creepy balloons appearing.
Creepy balloons appearing out of nowhere.
Out of
Don't
nowhere.
like that at all. And another thing, not particularly windy right now.
It's not. It's not.
Not particularly windy.
And they're not helium, so I'm like, where did you come from? But no.
Yeah, I have no clue.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
so with that, thank you guys again. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and your holiday season. Enjoy all of the festivities. And my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
Stay spooky, y'all.